Coming up on Valley View News, a man is killed after being struck by multiple cars on the 101 freeway in Oxnard. What we've learned about the investigation. Plus, new technology can tell you if you've washed your hands long enough. We tell you the businesses that are using the new machine for their employees. And the 96th Academy Awards took place this weekend. We have all the details, including Ryan Gosling's outstanding performance.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Carolina Tello.
And I'm Quinn Alexander.
A man is dead after being found shot near a hiking trail in an upscale neighborhood in Tarzana. Investigators say a security guard called 911 to report the dead body at around midnight on Friday. The man was found near the intersection of Reseda Boulevard and Winford Drive near Braemar Country Club. The unidentified victim is a man in his 30s and was pronounced dead at the scene. No one has been arrested in connection with the shooting, and there are no descriptions of the suspect. Investigators believe he was shot where he was discovered, and police are still reviewing surveillance of the area. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to call the LAPD.
A police officer and driver were injured in a horrific car crash in Inglewood. It happened on midnight Sunday after the motorist drove through a roadblock near the scene of an apartment fire across the street from SoFi Stadium. Investigators say the motorist then collided with a parked police cruiser. The force of the crash pinned the officer's cruiser, and first responders were forced to cut the car's door to free both of them, and then both were taken to the hospital. Firefighters extinguished the flames in about 20 minutes, and the American Red Cross helped at least 5 people displaced because of the blaze. Authorities are investigating whether the motorist was under the influence.
5 firefighters are recovering following their response to an illegal cannabis operation in downtown LA over the weekend. Large flames of thick clouds of smoke were seen coming out of the nearly 70-year-old building a couple of blocks north of the 10 freeway. The LA Fire Department says the hospital firefighters were treated and released. Around 145 firefighters hosed down the flames in just around an hour.
A man was killed on the 101 freeway after getting hit by at least 6 cars. The CHP officers were dispatched to the northbound lanes of the 101 south of Vineyard Avenue in Oxnard around 9 p.m. Friday. The victim was only identified as a man who attempted to cross all lanes of the freeway when a 19-year-old driver of a pickup truck struck him. The other multiple drivers stayed at the scene and cooperated with authorities to determine if they were under the influence. It is unclear why he was on the freeway and if the victim was under the influence.
CSUN students rallied in solidarity with the Palestinian citizens of Israel, calling out CSUN's alleged connections to the war. Valley View News' Matthew Bergula spoke with demonstrators on the picket lines.
Heavy rain and cold weather did not stop the Students for Justice in Palestine, or SJP, from organizing a walkout at CSUN. Protesters called out the university's alleged affiliations with the world's largest weapons manufacturer, which they say Israel has been using to extensively bomb Gaza. The rain makes it hard to hear, but Robert Avila says the CSUN College of Engineering and Computer Sciences offers internships with Lockheed Martin. He says although the company performs aerospace and engineering research, they heavily invest in weapons like machine guns and pistols that are then sent back to the state of Israel. Dozens of students marched around the university library before stopping in front of the library steps.
The Students for Justice in Palestine are calling on CSUN to cease funding to companies like Lockheed Martin and to redirect them to faculty and staff.
I think the CSUN, according to the calls of SJP, should divest from any companies that are aiding the occupation.
The group met opposition. The president of the premier Jewish fraternity at CSUN says the rhetoric from SJP is threatening and offensive to Jewish students.
They also have been chanting Intifada, which references attacks that Hamas makes on Israel, and thousands of Jews have died in those attacks, and they're calling for the same thing to happen again.
Valley View News reached out to CSUN for a comment on the situation. They declined to give one. Reporting from Northridge, California, I'm Matthew Bergula for Valley View News.
Matthew, thank you. It was an emotional weekend for the Rancho Cucamonga community after a car crash left one hospitalized and claimed the lives of 2 siblings late Friday afternoon. The two teens were driving home from practice when they lost control of the car before crashing into a power pole and a tree near Wilson and Haven Avenue. Elias and Sarah Cruz, both student athletes from Los Osos High School, died at the scene. There has been a GoFundMe page set to help the Cruz family with funeral costs. On Saturday, the community gathered to support the Cruz family in a makeshift memorial.
Technology is always evolving, and with it comes more ways for hackers to steal information. Valley View News' Edward Siegel attended a cybersecurity conference in Valley Glen to find out what are the best ways to protect yourself from cybersecurity threats.
Digital threats to regular people are now more common than they've ever been. The California Cybersecurity Workforce Development and Education Summit saw close to 100 people gather at Los Angeles Valley College to discuss this evolving area. Organized by Fresno State Criminology Professor Keith Clement, the summit aims to strengthen the people fighting digital threats every day.
Most of cybersecurity is actually a human-based problem. Again, computers do as they're programmed or as they're coded. It tends to be the weakest link is the human side of the house.
Speakers from several companies talked about the ways to start working in cybersecurity, where the average salary for an entry-level position is $92,000 a year. Other experts talked about scams you might face and how to deal with them.
They want to feel connected, a romance scam. Hi, get a text. Is this my Aunt Dora? No. Oh, I'm looking for my Aunt Dora. She's from Oaxaca. Oh, I'm from Oaxaca too. Yes, I totally knew that because I researched your social media before I chose you as my victim.
Some of the speakers also had tables, such as Build LACCD, a small contractor boot camp. Being scammed takes an emotional toll on you, so Build LACCD provided stress balls to help ease the pain. LA Valley College President Barry Gribbons says California has a large role in fighting these threats, and it's important to train students in cybersecurity.
The need for students pursuing that is huge. The number of future employees is going to be immense, so doing everything we can to help feed students into that educational pipeline, I think, is absolutely critical.
Gribbons says that with big institutions like LAVC, digital threats are almost a given.
Every minute of the day we have cyber attack. Yeah, we have thousands of attempts from over 100 countries.
The summit is the first of its kind, and Gribbons and Clement want to make it an annual thing for college students. Reporting from Valley Glen for Valley View News, I'm Edward Siegel.
Edward, thank you. President Biden gave one of the most important speeches of his administration in the State of the Union address.
The issue facing our nation isn't how old we are. It's how old are our ideas.
Biden opened the speech by targeting the January 6th Capitol rioters, while also calling out the various GOP members and former President Donald Trump, which Biden refused to refer to his name. The Supreme Court was also in the hot seat as well, Biden slamming the justices who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade, saying the restriction of abortion is an assault on freedom. The war in Gaza is a topic that was all but unavoidable after protesters blocked off a part of the road leading to the White House, rerouting the president's motorcade. As for the speech, Biden announced plans for the military to help build a pier on the coast of Gaza to help with the flow of aid. The president brought up the shrinking size of a Snickers bar as inflating continues to damage Americans' pockets. He also talked about cracking down on shrinkflation and junk fees.
Following Biden's speech, Trump gave one of his own in Georgia, kickstarting a rematch of the 2020 presidential election. The former president described Biden's speech as an angry, dark, and hate-filled rant. Trump also met with the family of Laken Riley, the young nurse that was killed by an alleged Venezuelan migrant. Trump blamed Biden for Riley's death and said the president should be apologizing. Trump is looking to retake Georgia after he became the first Republican to lose the state in 24 years. Biden, on the other hand, is looking to ramp up his campaign, announcing that he and Vice President Harris will be traveling all the battleground states. Biden will visit New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Michigan next week.
Miami is breaking up with spring. Just last month, the Miami City Commission approved a series of measures to improve public safety during spring break. The breakup campaign is showing tough love by influencing heavy fines, curfews, bag checks, restricted beach access, and DUI checkpoints. Miami Beach Mayor Stephen Miner says he's comfortable with the spring break measures taking place.
And I feel I have a moral and an ethical obligation to keep everyone safe in our city. I am very comfortable with the measures we're taking, and I'm very proud of what we're doing.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has upped security and safety by dispatching 140 state troopers throughout the Sunshine State.
A video from late last year showing a large gorilla chasing two workers in Fort Worth Zoo resurfaced now has over 85 million views. The video was recently posted to TikTok by someone who claims to be a former zoo employee. Zoo officials said the incident happened because the two keepers entered the enclosure not knowing the silverback gorilla was still inside. The workers were unharmed.
More to come on Valley View News. Over $1 million worth of gold art was stolen in Italy. And Pixar's new trailer for Inside Out 2 has been released. We'll give you a look. Stay with us.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. Let's travel to news overseas. Hugo Maldonado Garcia is in our digital media center with the latest international updates. Hugo?
Thank you. At least 5 people were killed in northern Gaza after a parcel parachute failed to properly deploy. The failure led to a parcel falling on the victims. U.S. officials say Jordan, Egypt, France, the Netherlands, and Belgium are some countries delivering aid to the region. A U.S. 130 transported 16 packages that contained 720 ready-to-eat meals, 2 tons of rice, along with wheat, powdered milk, and dates over the weekend. The U.S. delivered 23,000 water bottles and over 41,000 meals. It all comes after President Biden announced a plan to aid relief after 100 people were killed in an encounter last week. $1.3 million worth of gold sculptures were stolen in an Italian exhibition. The Vittorioli degli Italiani estate said that 49 pieces of art were stolen, including one of the pieces named Uomo Donna, which translates to man and woman. It was later found in the exhibition's complex grounds, but 48 of those art pieces are still missing. The head of the estate said he believes the theft was part of a highly specialized gang. The art exhibition had just opened in December. Ireland went to the polls over the weekend and announced that they requested to change sexist language in the constitution. Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar says he wants a change because of the very old-fashioned and sexist language towards women. The Irish government announced that they had 2 different referenda, which is a vote by the elected. Ireland's voting took place on the same day as International Women's Day. People could vote to replace 2 constitutional references that family was founded on marriage, and the other says that an Irish woman supports her life within the home. A new national security bill in Hong Kong could imprison people for up to 20 years. It comes after a draft proposal announced over the weekend that would help charge those who have committed crimes like insurrection and treason. Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee says he wants to pass the law as soon as possible. Last month, the U.S. State Department expressed concerns over the bill, saying it could be used to provoke fear and arrest and detention. The bill still has to go through several rounds of debates with officials before it becomes law. That's the very latest from the Digital Media Center. I'm Hugo Maldonado Garcia. Back to you.
Hugo, thank you. New federal data is revealing more than 10,000 U.S. emergency room visits occurred due to children being exposed to melatonin while unsupervised. Although the type of melatonin is not clear, 5,000 cases were estimated by researchers to be melatonin gummies. Officials found that the bottles were able to be opened by children or were not closed properly. The children suffered several side effects, including headaches, drowsiness, bedwetting, and agitation.
One of the few drugs available to treat ALS might be pulled off the shelves after failing its phase 3 tests. ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, destroyed nerve connections needed for bodily functions, including breathing. The drug Relyvrio aims to boost cell energy and prevent cell death. However, investigators overlooking a recent trial saw no difference in patients who took the drug compared to those who took a placebo. The drug's developer says it may voluntarily remove the drugs from pharmacies after discussing the results with federal regulators. High demand caused the FDA to controversially approve Relyvrio in 2022 after a small study showed some progress in patients.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is recommending several cinnamon distributors to recall their products due to a lead contamination. The FDA has been investigating lead poisoning cases suspected to be connected to applesauce pouches sold by Wanabana, Schnucks, and Weiss. Now they are expanding their testing to ground cinnamon brands. So far, they have identified 6 brands with concerning lead levels: La Fiesta, Markham, MTCI, Swad, Supreme Tradition, and El Shiar.
A new machine can figure out if you've been scrubbing your hands for 20 seconds. Hand Scanner, a new innovation from tech startup PathSpot, is being used by fast food chains like Taco Bell and Arby's to scan for germs and dirt on workers' hands. The workers are told to wash again if the machine still finds dirt residue. Hand Scanner also has employee ID codes linked to it so managers can know who has been washing their hands and who hasn't. The CDC says the food workers wash their hands about a third as much as they should be.
Ride-hailing giant Uber is letting California teens take rides on their own. Valley View News' Giselle Lamelli reports the new feature allows teens to ride alone, but with a small catch.
Uber is now allowing 13 to 17-year-olds request a ride through the app in the state of California. Residents had mixed emotions about this new feature.
Parents or guardians need to send an invite to their teen through their own account. But even with this safety add-on, some parents aren't so convinced they can trust the service.
I wouldn't feel comfortable sending her even to grandma's house, the next city over with Uber, just because there's so many weird things happening out there.
Uber says the first ride requires teens to complete a course that explains the safety features available to them. Teens are then paired with the Uber's top-ranked drivers and can be contacted by parents anytime. Guardians can also limit spending through their account. Audio recording can be enabled for the ride as well. Officer who wishes to remain unidentified says he thinks any feature can be manipulated, which can lead to kidnappings, human trafficking, or other potentially dangerous, harmful scenarios for teens. He says guardians should not fully rely on Uber's safety features. While some guardians may not agree, others believe it's okay to use.
A lot of things are just happening. I just feel like if there was a sufficient parent controls within the app or within the Uber, that gives the younger generation much safe, I'll definitely.
All 50 states offer this feature in more than 250 cities. Reporting in Northridge for Valley View News, I'm Giselle Amelli.
Thank you, Giselle. If you're a fan of Batman and Lego, you have a chance to own a Lego set celebrating the 85th anniversary of the iconic superhero. Lego Group revealed the impressive Batman Gotham City Skyline set, which contains more than 4,000 pieces and includes iconic Gotham City buildings, the Batwing, and the Bat Signal. The set also contains characters like the Joker, Harley Quinn, and of course, the Dark Knight himself. The set cost about $300 and will be available on April 1st. Pretty neat.
In honor of Women's History Month and Barbie's 65th birthday, Mattel has announced that it's adding new dolls to the Barbie Role Models collection. The doll is to honor women around the world, and it's based on the real-life actresses and singers. The next Barbie role models are American actress Viola Davis, 5-time Grammy winner Canadian singer Shania Twain, British actress Helen Mirren, and Australian-born singer Kylie Minogue. According to Mattel, the dolls are meant to introduce girls to unique women's stories to show them you can be anything. However, the specific Barbies are not for sale and only one is made.
When we come back, we take a look at one of the film industry's biggest nights of the year. Also, NCAA Women's Basketball Conference Championship game starts some madness. Yes, we mean March Madness. Don't go anywhere.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms.
Thank you.
Good.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Welcome back. Before anyone stepped foot on the red carpet, the 96 Oscars were already plagued with controversy. The LAPD was put on a citywide tactical alert due to pro-Palestine groups protesting on Sunset Boulevard and Cherokee Avenue. Some groups were chanting for the ceasefire in Gaza and calling to stop the ceremony. There were no reports of injuries or violence, and it is unclear if any arrests were made.
It was a night of firsts for the 2024 Academy Awards. The first Oscar in Ukrainian history was awarded to 20 Days in Mariupol for Best Documentary Feature. Cillian Murphy won Best Actor in a Leading Role for his portrayal of Robert Oppenheimer, which was his first ever Oscar. Emma Stone won for her role as Bella Baxter in Poor Things, making this her second Oscar win after La La Land in 2017.
That is the best part about making movies, is all of us together, and I am so deeply honored to share this with every cast member.
Of the 10 films nominated for Best Picture, which included Killers of the Flower Moon, Barbie, and Poor Things, Oppenheimer took home the Golden Statue. Other highlights of the night included a dig at former President Donald Trump by host Jimmy Kimmel, a very pregnant Vanessa Hudgens, and a very naked John Cena. I did not want to see that, you know?
I don't know, but I don't think anybody wants to see anybody naked ever.
His whole stick, you can't see me? I didn't want to see him.
The night of performances belonged to Barbie, and so did the award for Best Original Song. Ryan Gosling performed a well-choreographed performance, bringing all his Ken co-stars on stage to perform I'm Just Ken. Greta Gerwig was seen in the audience in disbelief. In a more intimate style, the Dolby Theater was bathed in pink light while Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell performed What Was I Made For? The brother-sister duo brought tears to the eyes of many in the audience and received a standing ovation. Later in the night, the siblings were brought back on stage to receive the Oscar for Best Song. It marks their second Academy Award. Their first was 2 years ago for No Time to Die.
8 years after winning the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, Riley is going to high school with a lot more going on in her head. Disney Pixar released a trailer for Inside Out 2 that introduces new emotions: envy, anxiety, ennui, and embarrassment.
Oh, we're doing a fit? No. Oh, no, going high. Oh, you got a real sweaty palm there, buddy.
Amy Poehler and Phyllis Smith will return as Joy and Sadness, and not only do their characters have to get along with the new emotions, there are some new voices of old emotions. Tony Hale will be replacing Bill Hader as Fear, and Liza Lapira will voice Disgust instead of Mindy Kaling. Inside Out 2 is expected to hit theaters on June 14th.
DreamWorks and Universal's Kung Fu Panda 4 has topped the box office, earning over $58 million on its opening weekend. The film has earned $22 million internationally. The franchise hasn't seen success like this since 2008, when the original Kung Fu Panda was released, earning $60 million in the box office. Kung Fu Panda 4 includes the return of A-list actor Jack Black to voice the film's main character, Po.
Thank you. Next. Ariana Grande has returned, releasing her first album in 3 years called Eternal Sunshine. Eternal Sunshine is supposed to be a sequel to her hit song Thank You Next, as the album digs deeper into her heartbreaks throughout the years. The name gets its fuel from the 2004 film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is about trying to remove the memories of past relationships. The entire album has only one feature, which is from Grande's grandmother, who gives some relationship advice at the end of the album. The album includes 13 songs and has already taken over the charts.
The Los Angeles Kings hit the ice Sunday to take on the best team in the Central Division, the Dallas Stars. The Stars came into the Crypto.com arena on Filipino Heritage Night and won 4-1 to secure their fifth straight victory. Emerging star Jason Robertson, a Filipino American, had a goal and an assist, and did veteran forward Joe Pavelski. Team points leader Kevin Fila was the only one who broke through for the guys in black as the Kings struggled to generate chances. All-star goalie Cam Talbot had 31 saves for LA.
Now heading to the basketball court, the Trojans' bumpy regular season has finally come to an end with a huge victory.
All on the defensive glass. Here's a steal by James. And on the other end gets the swat.
USC beat number 5 ranked Arizona 78-65 and held the Pac-12 Player of the Year candidate Caleb Love to a season-worst 2 points in what has to be the biggest win of the season. Kobe Johnson and DJ Rodman both scored 19 points in the win and helped pave the way for the Trojans to first 3-game win streak this year. USC will now head to the Pac-12 tournament in hopes of making it to the big dance.
The madness is in the air. The NCAA Women's Conference Championships are underway. 32 teams will get their spot in the Women's March Madness tournament from winning their respective tournaments, while the other half of the teams that lose out in the tournaments will be selected based off play and rank. USC moved up to number 3 in the AP poll after defeating Stanford in the Pac-12 game. And the SEC, South Carolina held out against powerhouse LSU to dance their way into March Madness. Well, it's no surprise that Iowa won the Big Ten out of the 3rd time in a row, led by the nation's best Caitlin Clark, who is still looking to win her first big dance. The full bracket will be finished and selected on March 17th.
A tight-knit community in North Carolina is proceeding with caution after a crime was committed. The current buzz around the town, it was one of their own.
I said, where are my bees at? So I got out and this is what I found.
Self-proclaimed master beekeeper Ken Edgar went out to check on his bee yard when he noticed over half of his colonies were stolen in the night. After evaluating the damages, Edgar reports about $30,000 loss in sales and equipment, and over 1 million bees missing. The New Hanover County Beekeepers Association says it was likely an inside job and that the culprit clearly knew what they were doing. Since the bee napping, the community has rallied around Edgar by donating hives to save his beesness. How do you steal 1 million bees?
I'm not sure, but someone's going to have a lot of honey.
I think it was Winnie the Pooh.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Carolina Tello.
And I'm Quinn Alexander. For stories any time of the day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.